And good afternoon. I'm going to do another Foundry video, but unlike the others where I've just taken you on tours of new facilities or things underground, I'm going to actually show you how I build something, which is probably I should have shown you to be the very first video, but I thought it was kind of mundane, but now I think maybe it'll give a better idea for folks who aren't quite sure how this game works. Now we are up to the point of building personal robots on an assembly line. We are building personal assistant robots. That's the first big full-size robot. And this is the informational database page that tells us all about it. But before you can do it, you actually have to make the parts for that robot on individual production lines. So I've already built a production line right here that's building the personal assistant robot torso. And now I'm going to build a production line that's going to build the head. Now we're going to do things a little differently here, so I'm going to show you around about how I did this. There's a couple of assemblers. Those are buildings that make things. Power line. Those are loaders, who are actually unloaders. They intake or export. They're called loaders. So that's what we're going to build, and I'll show you how we build it. Now, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to make it look just like this one. And one of the things we need to have for it is power. Now these blocks, these are literally called building blocks or blocks, carry low voltage power to power these machines. This is my transformer that's getting the power from the high voltage system. So by extending this line of blocks, I can run power over here. Now, so then I have to just decide where I'm going to put the first machines. Now I'm going to try to match this one, but I have to figure out how far do I need to be away. This sticks out 1, 2, 3 blocks, and when I'm using the loaders over on this side, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So I'm going to need 4 blocks at least from this edge right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where I can start my next machine. Right there. And then these assemblers are 1, 2, 3, space of 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then you have one more row. The loaders have to be mounted on a building block because they get the electricity from those blocks. So that's one more right there. And that's the basic frame. Now the loaders are, the assemblers are 3x3s. So I need a space of, and since I want to match over there, that's the first 3, that'll match that one, and the next 3, and that matches that one. So then I filled in this square, and there we go. Now my loaders are, there's one building block off to the side to mount the loaders on. So we're going to do a quick copy and put it right there, and the next one right there, and that's it. Now we have to tell it what it's going to make, so I go right here and say configure robot parts, personal assistant. We're making the head, and then we'll go here and do the same thing. There's actually another way that you can do this too. So now we just need parts for it. Now I wrote down, and it turns out we actually need one less part than we need here, but I like this method of putting as many inputs as possible behind the building and then have the main ones coming out in the front. It's just a personal preference. So I need robot parts, CPUs, and glass, and they'll need somewhere to go to. So I mount a loader right here, and that's a 1-lane loader. Then there's a 2-lane loader, and then a 3-lane loader. Now the order that we pick these things is I try to get the one that's furthest away from the building is the one that's closest on the main bus line. I'll give you a quick tour of the main bus line here because this is a thing of beauty now. This is like Factorio, only I don't have to leave spaces between them. That's hydraulic pistons, robot parts, poly sheets, firmamite sheets, formamite bars, concrete, advanced machine parts, electrical components, rods, plates, machine parts, glass, steel, energy cells, circuit boards, and CPUs. And I'm sure that will be additional ones being added to it as I come along, but that's all I need right now. So I need robot parts, and that's really the closest one. So the way I like to do this is using the menu, I hit the button 2 and you see how that lights up. That's a slope, but I want this to upslope for a reason. Then I select 3, which is a balancer. And balancers are finicky. You have to switch to snap mode sometimes to get them on the proper side. Oh, I'll use my mining laser here and take out these pesky trees and plants. No point in letting biology bother me. Alright, just to show you, this is my inventory. I had to keep clearing stuff out because as you cut stuff down or replace, like here I've got a conveyor 1 because I replaced a conveyor 1 with a Foundry. The parts go in your inventory and you don't want them in your inventory because it just takes up space. I'm further enough along the game. I've unlocked the ultimate conveyor parts, which is level 4, and I've decided I'm going to commit to only building with level 4 from now on. It simplifies things. So here's my robot parts. And just so that I don't mess something up, I always, if it's going to cross over anybody's, I always bring it out. And then I bring down the, to continue the assembly line. So if I build something later on, I won't mess up the things I've already built. So I take this, and you can see the various buttons. R sets a fixed point, E goes up, Q drags down, Z deselects the whole thing. In other words, I've goofed. And T clears the last fixed point. Now, since there's nothing here and I'm not going to build anything here, I can kind of line it up. I can hit an R, makes it a fixed point, and then I can drop it down and bring it out here, and it's in the loader. And I'm going to bring it all the way because I'm going to have another set of loaders over there. And that's how we do it. Now the next thing, there's CPU and glass. And CPUs are over here, so here's glass is the next thing. So I'm going to do the same thing with glass. Only I've got a choice. Because I just have to get it over there, I can try routing it different ways. And I'm going to try to save a little space here by counting back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And deleting those so that I can get a little more room. And I'm sloping up. I'm putting my balancer, that's what this is called, a balancer. And then sloping back down. And then I go from this balancer, and I'm trying to go to that second loader. So I can go to here, take an R, take another R. You have to hit R if you're going to change levels, otherwise it tries to change the level of the whole belt you've been building, which can mess you up. And there you go. And that's pretty straightforward. But it's also because I've spent hours playing this and learning, tens of hours, the best way to do this. And then finally, CPUs is the last one. Now CPUs are all the way over here. I've just added them to the belt because of this. And I think what we'll do is we'll do the same thing here. Now you have to be careful when you do these cuts that you don't cut something underneath. Those are my completed robot torsos, and I'm storing them. It turns out I can't store that many of them. We'll show you a little something here. I just realized that I really want to store more than that many if I'm just going to be producing them now waiting for it. So I have to build a new storage. The biggest storage I can build is one of these, and it has 32 slots. That other one only has 16 slots. So let me build one of those, and you notice it has a size of 4 by 3 by 4. The middle number is the height, so it's 4 wide and 4 deep. So I'm going to, and it has to be on a building block base. So there we go. 4 wide, 4 deep. I have to have it one more because I have to have loaders. So I'll extend out the loader. And then I'll go here. If you right click on an item, you don't actually have to have it in what's called your quick bar, your task bar down at the bottom. I put 2 loaders there. The second loader actually is an unloader. It's so that you can fill up, and this will allow this now to start filling up. It'll first drain this one, and then this one will start loading. I just want to show you that's how the system works. By the way, you'll notice there has to be a transformer here, because while storage doesn't require power, these loaders require power. Alright, we'll go back to what we were doing. So we're ready to add the last item, which is the CPUs. So here we are in the CPUs. I'm going to, again, go and do an upslope. That's how you do it. It's a right mouse click to get that interface. Now, loader, these things are finicky. You have to switch to free mode to put it in the right spot sometimes. It's because the game tries to automatically decide where it should be, and sometimes they can't decide that you might want it not at the logical left side, but to the right, for instance. Alright. And then we switch the belts. And now I can bring it over. Now I want to go, you can see my buildings over right there is where I'm trying to go to. Now, there's a variety of ways I could go, but let's do a fixed point, go up a level. Do a fixed point here. And a fixed point here, and then go down a level, and down another level, and there we are. And it's as simple as that. Again, playing tens of hours, you'll learn how to do it simply. Oops, tree. Let me get rid of that because I'm going to end up cutting it down at some point anyway. Okay. And that's that. Alright, so all of these, I stopped here, so I'm going to bring up the conveyors again, drag the belts out here, because I'm going to add the second assembler to my production. And again, I have to select, there we go, and we are all set. Now this only has 3 inputs, not like the 4 like the torso, so I can have this, I can immediately add the ones that are going out. So we have to add the loaders, which default to intake. Hit the button on the top, the toggle. And I like to add a little dirt underneath them, just so that when I'm trying to position the belt, I don't have to play with it. Now, one of the things I've been doing is I have this line go underneath. I mean, I have the conveyor belt coming out. Go down a level, Q. Oops. See how, watch, this is a good example, I'll show this. If I press Q without a fixed point, it tries to lower it automatically, and I don't want to do that. So what I do is I start here, press R to get a set fixed point, then drop the level, and see now it's not a problem. We run underneath, and we're over here, and I run it out at the same length as the other one. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to build building blocks from this one to over here. I had them in the wrong spot. Just hitting escape will get rid of it. Let me try that again. And that building blocks carries power, but you shouldn't waste the blocks. It only has to be 1 wide. I could put another transformer, but that transformer's hardly got any load on it right now, so there's kind of waste. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a couple of those storage units, and I'm going to put them here, and of course they're 4x4, so I need that 4x4 space. Done. And then I need an additional space for the loaders, so I have that too. So I just have to add 3 more because I'm going to put 2 of these side by side. have to extend the belt out a little bit. And I can now go to my inventory, which oddly enough you hit with the B key to get it. Lift it, put him in a position. Oops. F key deletes, because I double hit that. And then I can bring it here, press the Q button to copy it. And then bring up the interface and add my loaders. And of course the second one, as I said, is going to be the output. And now these two will start taking all of the heads that I'm making right now. So the last thing I'll do is this is personal assistant robot torso. I will come here and update my map. Well, let me go on top of the building. Map from the current position. Personal assistant robot head. Oops, head. And I already have the color I selected. I want something that's going to pop and stand out. And there we go. Personal assistant robot head. Also, I have one more little thing I'd like to do. I like to add lights. So when you're flying around when it's dark, these things stand out a little better. See, I already have a light here. And I'll even put lights over here because that way they'll stand out a little bit better too. So, oops, that's my explosive. We don't want to do that. There we go. So, personal assistant robot torso, head. The next thing to build is the arms and then the legs. And then I'll build an assembly line and I'll do a separate video on that. Now you may wonder why the heck I might waste on all that space and put these side by sides. Because at some point I may want to build a bunch more of these. And over those tens of hours of playing, I've learned to design things like this with plenty of room to expand, that you don't have to take down other buildings. And that's why I do the method of the supply belts go in one way, the output belts go back out. That way you're not trying to build the next portion anywhere near where you're doing the initial production. And that's it. And that's what it's like to actually build something in a game. This is a very simple example, but I just thought I'd do that, showing the controls. Oh, one more thing while we're here. I want to show you my fracking tower. Fracking. Just like in real life, when you can't get enough liquid out from an area, you use fracking liquid and send it into the deep underground. So here's my little facility. I'm using the olamite, which is like petroleum, and we put them through distillation towers and we get a gas, and then we convert it and we get fracking liquid, and it's going through this pipeline and will fly quickly. Right turn, and there we go. And we have a pump because we're running out. And here's my fracking tower. This is one of the modular buildings. It's built in parts. Robots come and put it together for you. I showed that in an earlier video. And the liquid comes in here and comes in there, and it helps power this fracking drill that goes down. It's really cool. There's even animation. There's even animation when it first goes down, which is very cute. And let's fly up. Whoop, whoop. Try not to bang into the head. We'll land on this. Also very cool. And see, I've got content 1000 fracking liquid. And I do not know the consumption per miner. I'll show you the miners in a minute. It's 150 liters per minute. So maximum throughput is 37,000. That's an enormous number of miners. If each one only uses 150, I have no idea how you'd use that much. And the unit itself can hold a reservoir of 1,000. So for the last thing, we'll go down and see my miners again. I showed them, I think, on the other video, but we'll show you what's down here. See, the fracking liquid just goes down there. I don't have to put it here in the deposit. This Telluxite is something that I actually was bringing down from the space station. I was buying on the galactic market because I was out. Because these two mine heads had run out of oomph. But now that I can use the fracking liquid, they'll just continue indefinitely pulling Telluxite from the vein. So that's really neat. And these heads will just keep drilling, and apparently magically it'll keep being formed. So we'll leave you here with a view of my Telluxite vein mining, and we'll see you next time.